Hey everybody, this is Q from My Auntie Trading, and today we're going to cover one of the more simple patterns for new traders to recognize. This is called the ABCD pattern. We're also going to explain how to effectively use it alongside with oscillators such as MACD, moving averages, and volume. The goal of understanding this pattern is to find the correct entry point into a stock to safely place your money on for profit. Although patterns are not guaranteed to work every time, backtesting shows that using patterns with other technical analysis tools leads to success for many. Before we start, it is important to note that patterns that you see in the stock market are not restricted to a specific time of day or length on a chart. Patterns can happen anytime and can take minutes or months to be created. So the first part of the ABCD pattern would be this uptrend right here. ABCD patterns come off of an uptrend and eventually hit this resistance line at the top. Resistance simply means that the stock could not go further. This is the top dollar that people were willing to buy and they weren't willing to go any further up. Now that you've established this part, this is what you want to label as A. The next thing you want to look for in this pattern would be B. This is where the stock starts to go down right over here and shorters start to take place. Eventually it hits this support line, which means that the stock cannot go any further down. This is what you want to label as B. The stock will steadily go in between the resistance and the support line and eventually make its way up. This is what you want to call C, which means that the stock never dipped below the support line. If the ABCD follows through, then that means the next point you want to look for is D. Right at the top right here, this breakout point is considered D. This is the point in which you want to buy into the stock and you know that it's safe to buy. Because as volume increases right over here, you see that the stock will start shooting up because everybody is jumping into the stock. People think the same way. Just like you're thinking that you're waiting for this point past the resistance line to go into the stock because of this confirmation, everybody else is thinking the same thing. Although, like I said, patterns don't work every time, there are other things that you can look at that can help you identify when it is the right time to jump into the pattern. Let's go ahead and take you into the actual stock example for you to understand. So here's a real-life example of what an ABCD pattern looks like. This is based off the stock Tilray or ticker TLRY. The first thing we want to look for in the ABCD pattern, like we spoke about, is the uptrend. You can see clearly that this stock opened very strong today. It eventually hit a resistance line right here and we formed our first letter, A. As the day went on, the stock got sold and shorted. Eventually it hit its support line. This was confirmation for the beginning of the pattern. So right here you want to label B. The pattern could have gone this way or it could have gone this way at any point in the next 2 minutes, 1 minute. It doesn't really matter. What you want to look for is your next letter, which is C. So as you can see, the stock moved in between A and B, which means it stayed in between the support and resistance line throughout the next 2 hours. This eventually confirmed our letter C. The stock gained enough traction and volume to move all the way up and move past the first resistance line, marking our letter D. This is the point where you want to buy the stock. This is your confirmation alongside with reading the oscillators such as the MACD and the volume. As you can see, the volume right around 12, right where the stock broke out, increased dramatically, which means everybody was thinking what you were thinking. Everybody was thinking, this is the breakout. Let's jump into a stock and make a quick profit while it still runs. Now the MACD helps you understand when it's the right time to buy. You can see a crossover right here. This crossover is also confirmation alongside with everything else that you're watching that this stock is going to be a runner for the next few minutes or hour or so. Eventually it crosses over again and the stock becomes sold and shorted. The day goes on and this can be formed throughout the day. You could see this pattern happen again and again and make as much money as you want off of it. Eventually the pattern will break. However, now that you're familiar with the pattern, you can easily recognize that this is your entry point and you should make a quick profit and sell off, wait for the pattern to come up again, and watch for other patterns. I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to respond. Like I said earlier, patterns are not always guaranteed to work. However, you do have a lot more things that can help you confirm that this stock will work out in your favor. This is Q from My Auntie Trading, reminding you to stay stocked up on knowledge.